Thank you for being silent.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. We'll be with you shortly.
Hafaday and Tiro,
And good morning.
and welcome to
Keeping Up with PSS. Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good
this
morning, Commissioner.
It's great, wonderful. I love the fact that we have an audience out there listening in to our second ever live show here at PSS. And you know, the intent behind this live show is just to really kind of communicate with our community and make them understand things that are big things that are happening at PSS and some of the important things that we want to communicate out to the community so that they understand these big things that are going on here at PSS. And one of the things that I think is going to be a very helpful topic for us to discuss this morning is really this thing of accountability, right? There's this thing called School Accountability Report Card. One of our strategic priorities in PSS, and it's a board-approved priority for more than 5 years now, is the accountability, right? How do we account for each and everything that we do here at PSS? And it's an actual big office, and come from that office and I'll tell you to describe that. Before we go any further, I just want to kind of introduce the two great, wonderful staff and professionals that we have in PSS. We got one from central office and one from the schools, but let's go ahead and see who we got here to my left.
Today, my name is Celine Orsini. I'm from the Office of Accountability Research and Evaluation.
Accountability Research and Evaluation, such a long title there, but let's gear into that here real quickly as soon as we hear from.
Good morning. My name is Naomi Nishimura from Cobreville Elementary School, and I am a school principal.
The school principal at Cobreville Elementary School, and we're so glad to have both of you ladies here
Thank you.
at Central Office, here at the Commissioner's Office, going in front of our audience here to talk about school accountability report card, but and we're going to hear how the school is, how this is an impactful thing for the school and our impactful thing for all of us across PSS and in our community. But let's hear what your office is: accountability, research, and evaluation.
Yes.
3 things going on there, right?
Yes, lots of good stuff coming out.
Yeah,
from there.
so on the research part, we know that the office does a lot of research. We have your boss, the senior director, Dr. Rizalina Liwak, and I know that you actually just were with her here over the week, talking and working with the Cognia, our
Yes.
granting body. But so that's the research, and then the evaluation piece is when we go out and we kind of measure, but then accountability, right? So how do we account for even every dollar that we have spent here at PSS is accounted and attributed to student success. And when it comes to student success, we're talking about the schools, right? Where the students are learning, where it's happening in your classrooms, right?
Yes.
Teacher, students interacting and actually engaging, and then the learning is occurring. But how often do we measure the learning, right? We measure the learning where students with report cards.
Correct.
Right? You give them a report card each and every quarter, right? And then what we're doing now is we're giving the schools a report card. So can you talk about the school accountability report card?
Thank you, Commissioner. So right now we're really excited about the launch of the school accountability report card. So basically, just like what Commissioner said, how every student gets a report card, but now we're going to give a report card to each and every school. So Cobreville gets a report card, Mariana's High School gets a report card, Hopwood Middle School gets a report card. So it's going to be essentially grading all the schools based on this criteria that we're measuring on the report card. So we're looking at academics, we're looking at star reading, star math rates, we're looking at attendance rates, and we're also looking at graduation rates as well, of how we're grading each and every school in PSS.
Yeah, and it's not to point at the school to say, hey, you're not doing well. It's really to kind of, and there's a video out there that promotes this school accountability report card, and I love the fact that there are 2 individuals there, we know who they are, superstars they are in that video, talking about, it's really like a flashlight, right? Like you're shining bright on the good things that are happening in the school, but at the same time, we're also trying to kind of elucidate and figure out how best to help the school, or how the school can also be improved.
Right. So in a way, we want our community to understand that this is really not about putting a hammer to a school or being punitive, but rather as a way to stay transparent and accessible to the information that we owe to the public. And so through this accountability system, which I know that we have worked for so many years, we are now just entering that phase of now going public with it.
Yeah, and for me, arriving here at the CNY public school system, one of the biggest things that I've been working hard on is to make sure that we're transparent.
Yes.
That we let our stakeholders know and understand things that are happening here, right, in PSS, because we need them to give us their feedback and enable us to kind of work better and improve ourselves. Right? We cannot just be on the corner, as we got to be getting the community to be involved in our process.
Yes, and it really purpose. And one of the biggest thing we're excited about in sharing, our data is that not only are we looking at, there are 3 specific indicators that the schools would be measured against. And the first one is student academic achievement, attendance, and I believe the graduation rate, like you mentioned. And going back to the student achievement, we're looking at reading and math. And I just want to give an example of why I believe it's important that families need to see this data. So even with attendance alone, there's a certain point that gets rated and places the school on a gauge to ensure that, we are sending the message. Attendance is a big deal. We need our students in school in order to impact student achievement, right? And so the idea of also sharing our attendance data is critical. So for example, let's say that when you go into the site and you see that we were rated pretty low in attendance, so that should say a lot, to our school community. And that's where we need to partner with our parents to ensure that we help raise that percentage, because that has a big impact also on the overall score of the school.
Yeah, one of the things when it comes to the rating, right? So the indicators, and I asked as we were building this, and we'll kind of talk about where our audience can find this information and when they can find this information, these type of data, right? And then it's an actual dashboard where you can really kind of see, and then later on we'll have trending analysis to see where we've been and how we're doing as the years go by. But I wanted to, and I've discussed it with the Office of Accountability Research and Evaluation, and even the Office of Curriculum and Instruction, while we measure star reading, star math, right, and how the students are doing in those schools, and really is the measure of that school and how well it's providing that learning opportunity for students, but also gauging and assessing the achievement of our students when it comes to those two things, math and reading. I wanted to add a third element sooner rather than later, and that is the Chamorro Carolinian, right? So how well are we teaching it? How well are the students, achieving and preserving it?
Right, so when we, work together with the task force and all the schools, we determined that we had to start small. We had to start everything in the simplest form so that, our community will have a better understanding of what the accountability system is about. And then determine later on, the work doesn't end. Quite frankly, we still have a lot of things to consider in terms of reporting. In the same way that a lot of the schools in nationwide have started with 3 indicators, and then we continue to build on that. So as a system, as a PSS, our work continues, and we are moving forward to including other data points as for future consideration.
So you've been on the task force since the inception of trying to straighten out accountability and transparency at PSS.
Yeah, so through the Elementary and Secondary Education Act that was reauthorized to the the ESSA, Every Student Succeed Act.
Wait, Every Student Succeed
Act. Yes.
That's a congressional act by U.S. Congress.
Yes, back in 2015, I believe that the CNMI public school system has worked towards, starting up, start up this pioneering effort to ensure that we put in place an accountability system for our CNMI. And so I believe that this is going to be, when we launch, we here in the CNMI will be the first in the Pacific region. And I just want to commend and, thank our partners from the Region 18 Comprehensive Center under the leadership of Ms. Lynette Villagomez, Dr. Eric Crane, and Hendrik Cho, right? Along with 2 of the other pilot schools, which included Hubble Middle School under the leadership of Victorino Borja and Jonathan Uggan from Moranis High School, to include our school. So the 3 of us have worked together closely with the task force, with the technical assistance from your office. So it's been
accountability is important.
A journey.
Yeah, because even we know that all of our schools just got recently accredited, right? All 20 schools, and even the district has been accredited by Cognia, right? It's this organization that comes here, investigates, really kind of, discovers things that we need to improve on, but all the successes that we have, and then puts a stamp on accrediting our schools, our district. So we've celebrated that, and it's for the next 6 years we're going to be accredited. That's a very meaningful thing for students who come to the schools, for the parents who send their students to our schools, to know that we're an accredited school, right? And we meet the quality control and the quality assurance part, right? The QA/QC part from an accrediting body. That's in fact, it's a global accrediting body.
And it really is timing, because I just came from the Cognia Summit that really emphasizes, and because we are accredited and we're part of that association, is necessary, because a lot of the things that we were exposed to at that summit was big on accountability. So I think it's really fitting now that we are moving forward with this.
Yeah, so good segue to have our folks from the Accountability Research and Evaluation office kind of talk to us a little bit more, right? So we talked about accountability. We talked about the value of accountability within an accreditation process. But now we're community and we're being transparent in how the schools are doing, right? Hey, if your school is accredited, how is it doing, right? So can you talk to us about the dashboard? Now we have some some
Yes.
things there that we're looking at data-wise, right? So like I could actually jump on what website to
Yes,
see this, but when do I get the opportunity to do this?
So if we're gonna fully launch live on September 30th, so this next Monday. So anybody and everybody will be able to access our school data on envisioncmipss.org. And also we'll also have a link on the main cmipss.org website if you're not familiar with it. But there we have all students' and all schools' information. You can find the accountability report card there. You can also find the student achievement report, other annual reports, a centric report, lots of data that are being housed on that website as well. They also have like a footnote section for newcomers, like to make it more user friendly. It interprets what you're looking at, what this means, what that means. So really, we're offering all the support to help interpret this report card better, so it's better received by the public at large.
Yeah, we're cautiously kind of launching this out so that, again, it's not to the detriment of any school
Right.
in terms of the performance. That's where the data speaks to that particular school, right? But it's really more to be transparent, but at the same time, I also don't want parents to kind of like, hey, my student is going to this school here, why is it, this is our opportunity to work. And just know that to the audience that are listening out there, watching this, just know that this is meant so that we can not only be transparent, but we have to see ourselves to be able to kind of figure out what it is that we can improve on, and we will continue to improve on all of that. When it comes to the academic enterprise, when it comes to the things that surround the student in this ecosystem of supporting every student, we want to know where the gaps are and then go after those gaps and then try to meet it. And we can only know that when we know through data how it's been, right? How it's been going. So are you a data everyday lover of data?
Gosh,
Are you?
you're looking at the data. Data is dominant, in everything that we do. We can't assume things and, just come up with a magic number to say, or rather to do things, to initiate, programs without looking at our data. And, that's something that the CNMI PSS, has been doing so well with. We are so data rich.
Wait a minute, so you're saying we don't just make things up, we don't make
Oh,
up
no,
things,
no.
we actually look at the numbers?
Oh gosh, we'll be like
Numbers.
setting ourselves up for failure if we do. And so, like in the way that I mentioned, right? Data is dominant. We lead everything. We drive our efforts based on what identifying the needs of the schools, of every student. And so it really is a ripple effect, right? If we know exactly what this child needs in order to be successful, we have to look into what the student is lacking and work from there. Because in the end, even that one little thing that the child needs will work towards the ultimate goal of the CNMI, right? So everyone has a part, as educators, as a community, as parents, families, we have to work together to make sure that, we support every child. And also just to mention, because we are going to be launching this, by
30th.
September, I believe that the Accountability Research and Evaluation Office will be providing data worth of 3-year trend data, right?
Yes.
And so we will be having our individual school meetings with parents, and it is likely going to happen during our PTSA meetings. And so, we encourage, ask our parents, you want to know more about the accountability school report card? Come join us at our meetings when you get the notice.
Yeah, but I want to make sure too that the audience understands that, as you mentioned, that you as the principal and the teachers are figuring out how and where the child needs help, right? Based on data, right? How do we assist this child? Myself up here at the commissioner's office and in central office, we are looking at what the school needs to be able to improve, right? So it goes up to a bigger picture, and that's why the school accountability report is very important. I rely on the principals and the teachers to kind of figure out for themselves where the student is, how the student can progress in the learning, right? And then we look at it as a whole district, and then be able to kind of pinpoint where the school also is in its own progression, what things need to be improved in that school, and then we provide that support.
Right, so it's always a two-way street and not a one-way.
Yeah, so it grows bigger, right?
Right.
To that standpoint, and that's the real, for me, value behind school accountability report Yeah. So, you know, how it's launching it. We go live on making sure that the schools provide the feed on the data. We kind of make it more visible for the community and the stakeholders to be able to see, right? And then I look at that, and then we make decisions based on my discussion with the principals on how to improve those schools.
Yes. So a lot of the thing with, like, we're really excited about the accountability system is that it also shines a light on the schools that are doing very well. So we want to zoom in on those schools, look at all their data, look at their school-wide improvement plan, what are they investing in, and possibly take those same practices to another school that might need help. So therefore, we're sharing the wealth of knowledge and also boosting up all their scores at the same time. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, just yesterday we had a meeting with all the principals, right? So I had every principal report on the top 3 major issues that they want us to address at the district level, right, up here in central office. What are those 3 things? They also addressed, the top 3 successes, right? Like highlighting the successes when we just opened up our school virtually last month, right?
Right.
And then here we are today. So in the intersection of the first quarter. And so we just kind of want to have that connection with principals and the schools, between the district and the schools. We want to know. And then they highlighted best practices as well. So that all the 20 schools are listening in and they're learning from each other. So that was the beauty of that. In the future connection with the, we call it, what do we call it? The brief check-in with the principals, some monthly that I want to do with all of our principals. We would then focus our attention to the report card, and then kind of discuss what that means, right?
And that's very important, and we really appreciate that, the district looks at it that way, because, we do not want to work in silos. We feel that, we are important enough to ensure that you have our attention and we
Yes.
have your attention to be able to
Right.
move the system forward.
Exactly. Very well put. But I appreciate that, because that is exactly the goal that we have each and every day as we work across the district, right? In PSS, we always say students first, educators always. So we're looking at all of our students and we're making sure that they're the priority. And we're looking at all of our educators to make sure that they're also given the opportunity, the resourcing to make sure that the learning is really focused and it's concentrated within the classroom.
Yes.
And then beyond the classroom space, you find opportunities outside the classroom space as well, right? For like enrichment.
Right. So we do have a lot of, things going on at the school level. Besides the regular instructional schedule that we have, we also will be offering more out-of-school time programs, like, after-school programs that are for remediation, but also for enrichment.
Yeah, at the last live show that we had in the summer, we were talking about all the summer opportunities that our students were able to avail to on technology, really just kind of, make up those credits that they lost when they were in school, during the school session, the school year. But also, even if they wanted to enrich more of what they learned, they could take up some courses, right? So how's accountability, research, and evaluation? How long have you been in that office?
So I've been going on 3 years now.
3 years?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a long coming in the process. Yeah, we're very excited about launching this school accountability system, and also because it spurs school improvement, which is always on the run. So we're hoping that this report card has more buy-in in the community, not just parents, but the community at large. So like they'll see like, oh, this school is low on this. Maybe I could help, donate an EDT to help, fund this program that they so desperately need, or, to an incentivization also to keep up the great work as well. So we're hoping that this data is, will be transparent to all parents. So like parents will like wake up and say, whoa, my kid's school is this, they're probably first instinct's gonna say like, I wanna take my kid out, I have to ask the commissioner. But we know that he's a by the book kind of guy, he's not gonna do that. So, just like a car, when you're driving and the maintenance light goes on, you don't just throw your car away, you take it to the auto dealer to make sure, pop the hood and see what's going on. So as a community, we're hoping that this compound-based system will help us all work together and, help improve student outcomes.
Yeah, would you, as a principal, would you love the idea that if a parent is looking at this and say, start reading and my child is probably contributing to the rise and the increase in that assessment. or maybe declining in that assessment, maybe I should focus more attention, right? So
Oh my
they have a
God.
better understanding when they come home and like, hey, you need to be reading or write the math. Let's look at your math homework because then now
Right.
they're inspired and
So
motivated.
that would be
Yeah.
so awesome for our families to even come and approach us, approach our teachers. Hey, I saw that school report card from Coblerville. How's my child? It just opens a lot of opportunities for to dialogue with families and parents and really zero in on, I think that, parents know when their kids are struggling and when they're, doing well. And so either way, we want those families to come in and, talk about the successes, but also look at ways that we can help improve, a child's achievements. And what can parents do at home, beside what we just provide at school?
Yes.
So it's critical, and the teachers always have the answer for parents on what, giving them great tips on what they can do. And with all the technology that is, within the CNMI public school system, I think, through that clever program, parents, can have a way for students to access programs that are available at the tip of the fingers at home.
A lot of tools, right? And then
Yeah.
one of the things that we intentionally put there is absenteeism.
Yes.
So the school is measured on the absenteeism, right? While the school is not the one being absent, it's the many students that are being absent that we measure from that school, right? And then try to figure out what's causing the absenteeism.
Right.
So if the parent is able to see their report card, say, oh, my school is absenteeism is below 90, maybe I can contribute, but maybe I'll make sure that my child goes to school each and every day.
So if you're a parent that actually received a notice of attendance status, that's just our way of communicating with you that, let's work something out. What can we do to support your child in order to get your child to school? Because, when kids are out of school, it may not seem, but it really has an impact on their, because every day there's always something new to learn.
Yes, exactly. They're not in school, they're not learning, so we want to put them in where they're supposed to be. Yeah.
And if they have a like chronic absenteeism and all that type of stuff too, and we know that there's an excusable reason why,
Of
those
course.
things, we do our best to make sure that they
To
are
accommodate them.
they're given, accommodated,
Right.
with the child is not continue to decline in the learning, right? And
Right.
just keeping up with that. Speaking of which, keeping up with PSS is really the show here. It's really a wonderful thing that we've launched since the summer. We're doing it on a monthly basis. What do you think about this type of show?
I think it's great. I think it opens up the dialogue for more transparency and more elaboration on what we're trying to do. And we're not just the ominous agency working behind the scenes and nobody has any idea what we do. But yeah, I really like this.
That's the challenge that I've always had is like, we're a very complex organization,
Yes.
right? It is like every minute of the day, things are happening across the district. Imagine 20 schools, 9,000 students, 1,000 plus employees. And then how many activities are going on, right?
Tons.
Each and
Oh,
every- yeah, tons and tons of activities.
Just in one school, there could be like a whole gamut of activities,
Right.
that when you call us to share 3 successes and 3 challenges, it's like, which one do we pick, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is such a great way to really connect with our families and the community, our legislators, our, our stakeholders. And so
Partners.
we hope that this show continues and that, we're really received well by the community. And we hope that we hear back from our stakeholders. I think through the PSS Live, there are comment sections, right? That could be, but yeah, we look forward to that continued partnership.
I'm glad that you're a fan of this show, and are you a fan of this show?
I am actually.
That's great. Okay, so maybe this wraps up our show here for today, and we're gonna come back again next month and have another show. And I can't wait for the moment where we have our students coming up here and kind of talking
that'd
about
be
their
such a
own
great-
experiences here at in the district. I want every student to enjoy their learning, this learning environment that we offer here at the PSS all throughout the district. But so let's go ahead and remember to
Stay connected.
Stay informed.
and come